Audience members of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella have the same question. How does Cinderella's dress transform from this into this?
Hi, I'm Tricia Curley and I play Ella in our production of Cinderella.
Hi, I'm Anne Hauck and I'm the costume designer for the transformation dresses that Cinderella wears in Cinderella.
Yeah, so in this show we have 3 different dress transformations, 2 for Cinderella, 1 for Marie, and it's, in my opinion, one of the most magical parts of the show. I have never been in a show before where someone cheers that you're making a costume change, so that's been lovely. And then growing up watching the Disney Cinderella or the Rodgers and Hammerstein version, it's like the most magical part when you see her twirling and the dress happens. It's like every girl wants to have that moment, so getting to do that on stage and having like the kids react to things, and even though everyone knows the story, it's still like such a timeless thing when the dress transforms. It's wonderful.
Yeah, well, the same for me. I grew up on Walt Disney's original Cinderella, which was animation. And in the anime, Cinderella has the transformation after the fairy godmother restores her dress after the wicked stepsisters rip it all apart. And the one motion as a child watching the animation I remember is Cinderella's gesture of, oh my goodness, look at me. So when we did the transformation dress, the first transformation dress, it was very important to me that the mechanics of the transformation give this motion, because it's a, aha, look at me. And then she can come up with her arms and twirl around and be happy about it. But I think it's the first part of the transformation is the astonishment of, oh, I'm transforming into something different. So that's what we tried to capture with the first transformation dress.
So, funnily enough, I have played Cinderella 2 other times, but never this version of Cinderella. When I was in 8th grade, we did the Disney version of Cinderella, where I played Cinderella and my sister was one of the mice friends. And then I did a production of Disenchanted, which is like very much the opposite of Disney kosher Cinderella, but I grew up loving the animated version, and my sisters and I would watch the Brandy version of Cinderella. We watched it on VHS like it was our jobs. So now getting to play this version of Cinderella, this has been one of the most special iterations of Cinderella I've gotten to play. On the weekends, I work for a princess company where we play lots of different princesses. And in that one, our version of Cinderella is the live action one with Lily James. So I had practice with working with a big skirt, so it served me well in this production, but that's been really, really fun. And that's just been a small sample of kind of the interactions that I've experienced with this version of Cinderella, getting to interact with the kids and things, and like, it's definitely set me up for success for this part.
No, not that I remember. I started sewing, well, I was thinking about it. I probably started sewing when I was about 4 years old. My dad's family were tailors. And I can remember my grandmother putting a sewing needle in my hand when I was about 4 years old and teaching me how to go in and out of the fabric. And by the time I was in the 3rd grade, I had a sewing machine, a Singer sewing machine that did everything. It was electric and did everything it was supposed to. And a couple of needles went through my thumb a couple of times, but I learned it. Thanksgiving with that family was always talking about fabric and patterns and how to make things happen. And I just kind of gleaned onto it. High school, I sewed for Oklahoma. And in college, I sewed for the Fantastics. And then after college, I went into community theater and just started sewing for everything we did along the way. And that was in Southern Indiana. And then we went to St. Louis, where I was part of a madrigal group, and we did Elizabethan costuming, and our designer there was the designer for the St. Louis Opera Company. So she taught me a lot about stays and corsets and gathering. I never learned to lace one properly. But yeah, that's just kind of been something that I've done on the side and fascinated by. Well, it worked the first time. So there, on YouTube, there are videos of other costumers making the transformation dress. The one video that I latched onto very quickly was from the Hale Center Theater, and they have a supporting, or they had a supporting educational arm of the theater that was called Access Hale. And it's no more, but the last filming was of the Cinderella transformation dress that they were doing. The artistic director does a pretty thorough job of taking you through the steps of what it takes to make this transformation dress. The other video that I watched on YouTube was a person by the name of Shannon Sheridan. She's with Woodston Drama. She's the Woodston Drama Director and Costume Designer. And she actually, from Hale, I went to her and I saw how she had interpreted some of the Hale magic and made it a little bit simpler. And then there was also another costumer, Rebecca from Pocketful of Posies, on YouTube. And she just added to, okay, you know, instead of making the ball gown, you know, you can buy that and stuff it into the costume, and it saves you a whole bunch of steps right there. And I would get up in the middle of the night and watch these videos and rewatch the videos, and all of a sudden it would be like, oh, I understand why that is there. So it was quite an educational experience.
So Anne built in some Disney princess like little Easter eggs throughout the dresses. The main one is on this, I think it's layer number 2 that we wear. We have some apples for Snow White, and then we have some snowflakes for Queen Elsa. Lots of princess involvement in this outfit.
Since I kind of failed Corsets 101, I bought a corset, and the one that I was attracted to was this one, which if you look very closely contains monarch butterflies. And to me, Cinderella or Ella is like a butterfly. She's all tied up in this cocoon, and then all of a sudden she finds her wings and flies away. Okay, so the mechanics of the dress is that you want a ball gown to come out of these pieces. So what we did is we made specific pieces that do specific things. Like this becomes a pocket for the ball gown, and the corset here is that hides the top of the ball gown. And this is actually a corset that holds together the major part of the pocket, and when it falls away, it releases the pocket, hides the skirt, creates the ball gown. And we do that by creating breakaway sides. And we did that with, these are bra hoops, fasteners, just the one side of it, and with fishing line. And it's specifically deep water fishing line, 60 pound, because Ella pulls really hard and we don't want any breakage from the line. We specifically use buttons to hang on to everything so that they don't accidentally release. And once we got all the pieces for the transformation dress, we had to build another dress just like it for the second act, which doesn't transform. That's a whole nother dress that comes in at the end of the second act. So once we got it all put together, then we had to make this, which is just a regular corset. We had to create this, which becomes this, and her skirt and petticoat. So once I was finished with the breakaway gown, I had to go back and redo it all for the second act. So the first thing we do is we take the ball gown and we bring up the first part of the pocket. I'm going to attach a third hand here, fifth hand around her waist, like that, so that we can go around and collect the ball gown all the way around into this pocket. Catch it underneath the elastic. And this is what they don't show you in the videos, but it sure came in handy for us. And we make sure that that's all nice and tucked like that. Most theater companies have multiple dressers, and you can see all kinds of hands going and pulling and tucking, and we don't have that luxury. So we get her all pulled in. The ball gown is all in here, and now we're going to put the corset on, up and over the sleeves. Over the sleeves. You're together there, you're together there. And then we can shove more material up in underneath the zipper, like that. And then I'm going to reach up in here and take off that elastic belt. We're going to take the straps that are hanging down here. We're going to button it to the corset. And the reason because of that is we don't want to lose the corset on stage, because that would just look weird. And she is essentially Cinderella.